Hurricane Harvey slammed into the coastal bend 1 year ago. Now the city of Corpus Christi has taken the time better evaluating their hurricane response strategy. According to the National Weather Service, on August 13, 2017, Harvey started as a tropical wave off the African coast. The system then made its way west and formed into a tropical storm in the Atlantic Ocean.
We sat on our laurels a little bit, just kind of thinking, well, it ain't going to come to us, because we're so used to it turning away.
The storm moved into the Caribbean Sea, became disorganized, and creeped into the Gulf of Mexico.
As it got in the Gulf, then we started having our meetings. We started meeting with the National Weather Service, conference calls with the emergency management people in Nueces County.
Billy Delgado is the emergency management coordinator for the city of Corpus Christi. When a major emergency or disaster strikes, centralized emergency management is needed. That's when the E.O.C, or Emergency Operations Center, steps in. After some time in the Gulf, Harvey was upgraded again to a tropical depression after warm waters helped it gain strength. In 48 hours, Harvey went through a period of rapid intensification and morphed into a Category 4 hurricane, projected to hit the Texas coast, putting Corpus Christi and other parts of the coastal bend in its path. The city issued a voluntary evacuation for citizens. The E.O.C began assisted evacuations, and a day later, the morning of August 25th, the E.O.C fully activated. As a Category 4 hurricane, Harvey made landfall between Port Aransas and Port O'Connor around 10 that night.
Hurricane Harvey is a hurricane that kind of caught us by surprise, I think.
The quickness of the storm, it intensified so quick.
When activated, the Office of Emergency Management staff and representatives from city and non-city organizations are assigned different responsibilities.
We have the plans. We talked about the department plans. We drilled the evacuation.
For the better part of a week, the E.O.C monitored Harvey's impact on the city and the surrounding area.
This is the first time a lot of us have been through a hurricane working in the E.O.C. Staff had family members. Staff had family out, in Corpus Christi.
Gabriel Ramirez is the Assistant Director of Water Quality. He, along with other utilities employees, posted up at the Owen Stevens plant in Cow Island, maintaining the city's water supply.
Everything was working good until there was a power glitch, so we lost power to a lot of our water quality instruments in the field.
Without power, crews couldn't properly monitor the water quality in the system. The only other way to do so was by sending employees in the field and checking it manually. And with hurricane-force winds, that was not an option.
Since we lost the communication with our SCADA system to the distribution system during that time, we had to do a precautionary boil water notice.
When storm conditions settled, workers collected and tested water samples and made sure there was no bacteria growth.
And there wasn't. And we didn't think there would be, but as a precaution, we went ahead and issued the notice.
The boil water notice lasted about 24 hours. The hurricane-force winds left their mark on the city, destroying trees, blowing down power poles, and ripping apart fences. The city immediately began their recovery.
We were very fortunate that we had a pre-approved debris disaster management plan by FEMA.
The plan served as a guidance document and calls for action before a hurricane makes landfall. 3 days before the storm's arrival, contractors from as far as Florida prepared to help clean storm damage. The department strategically placed brush trucks in different parts of the city, making it easier to clean up debris after the storm passed through. Once Harvey cleared the area, contractors teamed up with the solid waste department and worked different schedules, picking up the destruction left behind.
We had over 600,000 yards of brush debris that we collected in 93 days.
McCloskey says because they used FEMA's plan, he's confident the city will receive a better reimbursement of funds used for recovery. According to the National Weather Service, the city experienced the force of a Category 1 hurricane. The Corpus Christi International Airport recorded a 63-mile-per-hour gust before it went offline, and the Victoria Remote Weather Station had a peak gust of 83 miles per hour.
We were very fortunate. You can stand at Cole Park and look across the bay and see Port Aransas, and then what I saw at Port Aransas after Hurricane Harvey made its pass through we were very fortunate that we were not impacted that way.
We feel for our partners down the road. You look at 40 miles. 40 miles could have hit us. We could have been devastated like Port Aransas and Rockport and all those areas over there. Aransas Pass Refugio.
Harvey's impact on Port Aransas is one a few Corpus Christi firefighters experienced firsthand.
When I was up in the E.O.C, we were doing our checks for the stations, damage control, damage assessment.
Little did signs know that his assignment was about to change.
They wanted to go get a look at what our fire station 16 was out on the island. That was the original need to go out there.
Firefighters used a drone to get a better look at hazardous situations like the bridge fire of April 2017.
It sustained some damage. It wasn't totally torn apart. And you kind of thought, well, let me just run a little bit further north, see how far, you know, was there any greater impact?
This curiosity gave 3 firefighters their next challenge.
Nobody had heard from Port Aransas by phone, by computer, anything. So we didn't know if there was still a Port Aransas. It was utter chaos, destruction that I've never seen locally here before.
After seeing the carnage left behind by the storm, the Corpus Christi Fire Department reached out to Port A's city officials and offered assistance.
And they were like, man, we're glad you're here. He's like, what do you mean? They're like, we need your help.
Signs, along with Tony Bettis and Jim DeVisser, spent the next 5 days serving as emergency coordinators and assisted Port Aransas in their recovery.
It usually takes a huge team of people to run an incident this huge. This was something that had not been seen, at least in my lifetime or my career here with the fire department, that 3 people actually sat there and figured out the plan, coordinated with the state, coordinated with the locals, try to get as much as we could done. We were just ad-libbing. We're just off the cuff.
The 3 helped overcome several obstacles, including restoring power to the city, getting in contact with state officials, and even helping distribute food and clothing donations. The National Weather Service recorded wind speeds of 133 miles per hour in Port Aransas. The storm left nearly 6,000 structures destroyed. After unleashing its fury on the coastal bend, Harvey made its way to Houston and flooded the city with more than 60 inches of rain and killed more than 80 people. The major hurricane caused more than $120 billion in damages. The experience served as a lesson for city departments. Everyone continues updating their strategies and improving plans for future storms to come.
Probably the biggest thing is to be ready and follow the operations plan like we did, and also follow up with it with the after action items, which we had several, to make things better for this next time.
Now that council passed the 2 new contracts for our debris contractor and then our debris monitoring contractor, we are ready.
While the city of Corpus Christi improves their emergency response system, they've also recently invited the public to take part in an evacuation drill.
When you talk about Harvey, and it's emotional. I mean, it was, you don't realize at the time, because you're working and you're busy and you're constantly doing something, but then you sit down and have time to reflect on what we did and what we accomplished, and we were able to do our job as a city to help the citizens of Corpus Christi.
Hurricane preparedness cannot be stressed enough. Don't wait until the last minute. Now is the time to get prepared. The city's website, cctexas.com, is filled with tips on how to prepare for a hurricane.